My name is Stillness. You used to visit me once in a while, before the scroll, before the noise, before you started mistaking movement for meaning. I remember how we met, not in a cathedral or on a mountaintop, but in a quiet room where light spilled across your floor and the only soundtrack was your own breathing. That's where the real work happened. Not the fast kind, not the kind that wins algorithms, but the slow, sacred kind that rewires the soul from the inside out. But then you got busy. You started measuring your worth and output and hearts and clicks and shoulds and next steps. You traded depth for momentum, presence for performance, me for productivity. And I've watched you unravel. You fill your calendar, but not your heart. You create faster, but not deeper. And you wonder why your work feels hollow, why the magic feels just out of reach. It's because you left me behind. I'm not the enemy of progress. I'm the birthplace of it. And in me, ideas are born. Visions are refined. Wounds are heard. And the art that you're desperate to make, it starts right here, where you finally sit with yourself without distraction, without defense, without running. You don't need a plan. You need a pause. You don't need more time. You need less noise. You don't need to prove anything. You just need to be fully, freely again. So I wait, not out of bitterness, but out of knowing, because I remember what you're capable of when you stop running from me. Come back, not just to create, but to remember. I am stillness, the sacred space between what you fear and what you were born to make. There's something sacred in silence, something ancient, and yet most of us run from it like it's a threat. We fidget, we scroll, we fill the air with noise because we've been trained to believe that movement equals meaning, that busyness equals value, that stillness is laziness. But what if that's the greatest lie of all? Today, we're not just talking about creativity, we're talking about where it's born. Not in the frenzy, not in the feed, but in the quiet. So, let's step into the stillness together. Because if you don't, you may never hear the voice that's been whispering your truest ideas. So let's start by talking about how stillness is not the enemy of progress, it's the origin of it. We've come to believe, I think, that if we're not producing, we're not progressing. But here's the truth. Everything powerful that you've ever made began in a pause. The best ideas, they don't arrive in chaos. They rise out of the calm. Your breakthroughs aren't buried in your to-do lists. They're waiting beneath your refusal to slow down. Stillness is not what steals our time. I don't believe that. I think it's what gives it back meaning. Now let's talk about how the brain needs stillness to connect the dots. Let's talk a little neuroscience. I get to geek out again just a little bit. Your brain, our brain, it doesn't just store data. It's constantly integrating. And that integration, it happens best during moments of rest and quiet. During stillness, for instance, your default mode network, the DMN, it activates. And this is the part of your brain associated with self-reflection, with creativity, insight. It's where ideas collide. It's where they connect. It's where they evolve. Think of it as your mental compost pile, right? You throw scraps of thought into it all day long, but unless you give it time to decompose and reform, it never grows anything new. Stillness is your brain's sacred studio. No noise, just alchemy. Now let's talk about the deception of momentum. Speed is really seductive, isn't it? We're told to keep up, to hustle harder, to post more. But momentum without meaning is just motion sickness. When you create without rest, you burn through your ideas faster than your soul can regenerate them. You chase deadlines instead of vision. You perform instead of connect. And eventually, you forget why you even started. Stillness is the friend that reminds you who you were before the race began. Now let's talk about how stillness is a form of trust. To sit in silence and not panic, that's trust. To create from a place of calm rather than crisis, that's faith. Stillness is not passive. It's actually preparation. It's like the breath before the note. It's the hush before the curtain rises. If your creativity feels dry, if it feels brittle or performative, it may not need more fuel. It may just need more space. So here's the real question. When was the last time that you created without pressure, without needing it to do well or be productive? When was the last time that you made something just because it made you feel more alive? What would happen if you stopped chasing your creativity and you let it catch up to you? And more importantly, what might stillness be trying to say? Stillness isn't asking us to quit. It's asking us to listen. It's not the absence of action. It's the birthplace of alignment. So let today be the day that you stop outrunning your soul, because stillness has been waiting for you and your creativity is ready. It's ready to speak again. So here's my challenge to you. Find 5 minutes today, just 5 minutes, 5 sacred minutes where you put down the noise, where you shut off the shoulds, and you sit with your soul like it still matters, because it does. Let your next masterpiece, let it rise, not from motion, but from meaning. Now go, turn down the world, turn inward, and listen to the voice that's been waiting patiently in the quiet. That's where the real work begins. That's where you begin again.